We waited 47 years. We have crossed every red line. Every president says they want to do something about it. Only Donald Trump had the guts to do it.
What's next?
Well, gosh, I don't know. I mean, what if we leave a country that for the next 47 years kills Americans, kills American personnel, funds terror around the world? That's what we have now. That's what we couldn't have it any worse now. What comes next?
We actually don't know. We don't know, actually.
That the Iranian people rise up and take control of their country.
We don't know.
Absolutely. It is up to the Iranian people to make that decision of what happens next. They make that decision.
And he is bringing peace. Iran has been at war with us for 47 years. The central pillar of the regime is death to America.
All the time on affordability, gas prices. I mean, there's no question that tomorrow oil markets are going to open up and the cost of the barrel is going to go from $5 to $10, and that's going to hit Americans' pocketbooks.
I think you're overstating the case on the oil. It is going to have some impact on the economy of China.
Tonight on CNN, Scott Jennings breaks it down while Democrats panic over Iran. They call it dangerous. He calls it necessary. This isn't fear. This is leadership.
Is here with me now, and sadly, Congressman Buddy Carter, I'm going to start with you. Sadly, that includes the death of servicemen and women. We know that 3 were killed and at least 5 injured. Generally speaking, are you supportive of what the president is doing?
Absolutely, I'm supportive. I mean, let's face it. This is historic. This has been 47 years in the making that we've found here. That Iran has been funding terrorism, and they have thousands of American citizens' blood on their hands and killed thousands of Americans. Let's not forget what has happened here. They have been funding terrorism for years, and to have this happen and the president to take this action, I applaud him for doing that. And those who are protesting this, the liberals in America who are protesting this, they are protesting it, but the Iranians around the globe, they're celebrating in the streets.
Did he say they were celebrating? Rolling.
Happy.
I want to move on because we have some wonderful people here.
I want to move on because we have some wonderful people here. That's the classic CNN spin. When they hear valid information, they want to move on for any reason.
Wonderful people here, but it's not just liberals protesting it. There are some hardline conservatives who are not happy. They say the president promised to end wars and not start them.
The president has addressed an imminent threat. And that was important. Iran had thousands of missiles aimed at American bases, and he has addressed that. The Iranians just did not get it. They didn't understand. He has made it clear they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. We cannot afford that. This president has saved millions of lives in the future.
I don't think that there's any tears being shed over the supreme leader being killed, other senior leaders that are responsible.
Okay, this is when CNN embarrasses themselves. Roll it.
Are responsible for the deaths of Americans or Iranians in Iran. I think the issue here is that there was not actually an imminent threat that was going to reach the United States with ballistic missile capabilities or even their nuclear enrichment program. The nuclear enrichment program, I mean, there was significant damage done during that June 12-day war last year. But the threat that this was imminent, this was more of a war of choice. And I think the larger question here is when the president says to the Iranian people, it's in your hands. Well, how? How is it in their hands if you're not going to have American boots on the ground actually delivering some type of security for election processes, police? It's actually not in their hands. And just one more point that I'll make on this is this war is going to have extreme economic consequences. And I know you probably face questions from your constituents all the time on affordability, gas prices. I mean, there's no question that tomorrow oil markets are going to open up and the cost of the barrel is going to go from $5 to $10, and that's going to hit Americans' pocketbooks.
I think you're overstating the case on the oil. It is going to have some impact on the economy of China because that's where they get their oil from, Iran. And what we did in Venezuela, what we did in China, what we did in Iran has as much to do with China, I think, as anything. I also want to say, may God rest the souls of those troops. But they died in a noble cause. And as Buddy said, 47 years, Americans are dead. The largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world. I totally disagree with you about the threat not being imminent. I spoke to senior very senior administration officials yesterday. They believe that the Iranian regime was about to fire ballistic missiles, not at the United States, but into U.S. military bases and civilian targets. They were going to attack Israel. They are already attacking other Gulf states.
You can't make the case back then in last year saying that you have completely obliterated the nuclear capabilities of Iran, and then say that there is an imminent threat. I mean, that's a dichotomy that just doesn't exist. And the reality is that the national security apparatus has assessed that there was not an imminent threat.
I know. My guess is I've spoken to higher-ranking officials than you. On the uranium enrichment, the United States offered them free, unlimited, lifetime, civilian-grade nuclear fuel. They said no. They had given us the runaround about their intentions on enriching uranium for military purposes. How long do you want to wait? Death to America? Death to Israel? How long do you want to wait? We waited 47 years. We have crossed every red line. Every president says they want to do something about it. Only Donald Trump had the guts to do it. You said you're not shedding any tears.
We had Hillary Clinton, we had Bill Clinton, we had Barack Obama, we had Joe Biden, and no one did anything about it. We even had Kamala Harris chime in.
What's the message to Iran?
Don't.
What is your message to Iran in this moment?
Don't.
I'm going to bomb the shit out of them. It's true. I don't care. I don't care.
That's what I'm talking about, double standards. They say they're going to do something and they never do it. But when Donald Trump says he's going to do it, it may happen 5 minutes later next week or right now, probably.
Tears for the regime, but you appear just not to like Donald Trump enough to be mad about it. This is a good thing.
I want to get you in, and I also want to say, every president, U.S. president since Jimmy Carter was opposed to the regime.
And who did something about it?
But the question is, and still is, what comes next? What's going to happen?
I think I might be representing at this table just like an average American right now that doesn't understand how nuclear weapons actually are developed, don't understand if they're, or know for sure if there was an imminent threat or not. I know many Americans woke up yesterday and said,
I honestly don't think that she knows anything about anything that she's about to talk about.
Said, oh my God, we're at war. Mm-hmm. And today they woke up and said, oh my God, Americans are dead. And I think everyone can say that's just not something we love to say as people.
No, we don't.
Because war does a couple of things. War can bring freedom, but it also brings death. And that is why we have rules and regulations and processes so that we don't just go to war at the decision of a president. We actually empower you, sir, to vote and determine. And if you vote,
and we will vote. We will vote on the War Powers Act.
But do you realize that we're at war now and you haven't?
No, we're not at war now.
The truth of the matter is Nancy Pelosi, during Barack Obama's presidency, in Libya, they made a decision without Congress.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, decalif, has resurfaced online, where she flatly defended the then Obama administration's decision to strike Libya. Without the congressional authorization, she believes President Donald Trump should have secured before conducting his own strikes over the weekend.
Last week, in our view, the administration conducted a provocative, disproportionate airstrike against Iran, which endangered Americans, and did so without consulting Congress. When I was informed of this attack, the administration took responsibility for it over the weekend. I said, why did you not consult with Congress?
So the president says we're at war, but we're not at war.
The president has done his job. He has addressed an imminent threat, and I applaud him for that. He should have. And this is something we need to keep in mind. And when Americans woke up this morning, they were safer. They were safer because Iran is not as strong as they were 2 days ago.
Can I just make the point that Scott was saying? Because I take issue with the fact that you think I'm against everything that this president is doing. I actually think that the 12-day war weakened Iran, and Iran walked away from a deal that they should have taken. I mean, that was a miscalculation on their part, and striking allies and Gulf nations is a miscalculation of Iran. But what I think the larger question here is, Scott, is that this war is going to draw down our stockpiles. It's going to pull capabilities from other regions, including the Indo-Pacific. And at the end of the day, I do think we are losing our eye on the threat of China. And frankly, there's someone in the Pentagon ringing alarm bells about what is happening to our military in terms of the stress it is putting on their extending carriers, et cetera.
Scott, I want to ask you about the politics of this, because it is mixed in your party. There are some with very big megaphones who are not happy with the president, because he did promise, not just during the campaign, but at his inaugural address.
If she's talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene, then that's asinine is irrelevant.
That he's the guy who's going to bring peace and not start wars.
Yeah, and he is bringing peace. Iran has been at war with us for 47 years. The central pillar of the regime is death to America. The other pillar is death to Israel, who is our ally. They have been at war with us. They have been killing American personnel and American soldiers for nearly 5 decades. This is not an attempt to start a war. This is an attempt to prevent further conflict. This is an attempt to get the largest state sponsor of terror off the field. This is an attempt to stabilize the Middle East. I don't view this, Ashley, as starting a war as much as ending the people who are the preeminent terror threat in the world. They're at war with everybody. They're at war with us, and they're at war with Western civilization.
This is a serious question, because we have seen regimes fall and countries not be stabilized. And so what's next?
Well, gosh, I don't know. I mean, what if we leave a country that for the next 47 years kills Americans, kills American personnel, funds terror around the world? That's what we have now. That's what we couldn't have it any worse now. What comes next?
We couldn't.
We actually don't know.
We actually don't know, actually.
That the Iranian people rise up and take control of their country.
We don't know.
Absolutely. It is up to the Iranian people to make that decision of what happens next.
If
they make that decision, they will never have a better opportunity to take this government over than they have.
Here's what we can agree on. What we can agree on is that we don't have the answers to it.
That's right.
CNN calls it chaos. Scott calls it reality. You decide. Drop a comment down in the comment section below. And until next time.